The agreement. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the pulsing neural readings on her holographic display, barely noticing the gentle hum of the quantum processors surrounding her in the dream research facility. The patterns were unlike anything she'd seen in 15 years of studying human consciousness. These weren't just ordinary dream waves. They were something entirely new. "Are you seeing this, Dr. Chen?" Her research partner, Dr. James Morrison, called from across the lab. "The theta waves are synchronized across all 20 test subjects, but there's something else. Something I can't explain." Sarah nodded, her eyes never leaving the display. "It's like their dreams are resonating, creating interference patterns that shouldn't be possible." She gestured at a particularly complex waveform. "Look at this harmonic. It's operating on a quantum level." The discovery would have been groundbreaking enough on its own. But what made it truly extraordinary was the timing. 3 days ago, humanity had received its first confirmed contact from an alien civilization. The Zarkaks, as they called themselves, had appeared in orbit with an unusual request. They wanted to study human dreams. At first, the scientific community had been skeptical. The aliens' interest in human consciousness seemed almost mystical, out of place for a species capable of faster-than-light travel. But the Zarkaks were insistent, offering advanced technology in exchange for access to human dream research. Now, watching these impossible patterns emerge from her subjects' sleeping minds, Sarah began to understand why. A soft chime announced the arrival of their alien observers. The lab's massive doors slid open with a whisper, revealing 3 Zarkaks representatives. Their crystalline bodies caught the lab's light, creating prismatic patterns across the walls. Each stood nearly 3 meters tall, their translucent forms housing swirling clouds of what looked like colored gas. Dr. Chen, the lead alien's translator, rendered their harmonic speech into English. "We observe significant progress in your research." Sarah straightened, trying to maintain her professional composure despite her racing heart. "Yes, Ambassador Valix, we've discovered some unexpected properties in the dream patterns. They seem to be operating on a quantum level, creating coherent fields that extend beyond normal space-time constraints." The alien's crystalline form pulsed with bands of deep blue, a sign of excitement, Sarah had learned. "This confirms our theories. Human dreams possess unique properties we have never encountered in any other species." "But why?" James asked, joining them at the main display. "What makes human dreams so special?" Valix's form shifted, bands of green and gold swirling through their crystalline body. "Your species dreams differently. While all conscious beings experience sleep states, human dreams create quantum entanglement patterns. They resonate with fundamental forces we barely understand." Sarah's mind raced with implications. "You're saying our dreams actually affect reality at a quantum level?" "More than that," Valix replied. "They create stable quantum fields that can be harvested, used. Your dreams could revolutionize everything from computing to faster-than-light travel." The room fell silent as the humans processed this revelation. Their dreams, the random firing of neurons during sleep, were somehow valuable enough to attract the attention of an advanced alien civilization. "We wish to propose a formal agreement," Valix continued. "Your species would provide regulated access to human dreamers. In exchange, we offer technological advancement that would advance your civilization by centuries." Sarah studied the neural readings again, seeing them with new understanding. "These patterns, you already knew they would be there. You've been searching for a species that could produce them." The alien's form pulsed with acknowledgement. "For millennia, you are the first we found. The only ones whose dreams reach into the quantum realm." James let out a low whistle. "So we're sitting on the most valuable resource in the galaxy, and all we have to do is sleep." "Not exactly," Valix cautioned. "Proper dream harvesting requires specific conditions, careful monitoring. We would need to establish dedicated facilities, train human operators. But yes, in essence, your natural sleep states would become the foundation of a new galactic economy." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. This wasn't just first contact anymore. This was humanity's entrance onto the galactic stage, and it would come through the most intimate and mysterious aspect of human consciousness. There are risks, Valix added, their form darkening slightly. Other species will take interest once they learn of your abilities. Some may not be as diplomatic in their approach. You're offering protection along with technology, Sarah realized, making us too valuable to attack. Precisely. A mutual benefit arrangement. Your dreams reshape reality. We help shape that reality to benefit both our species. Sarah looked at James, then back at the neural readings. Humanity had always dreamed of reaching the stars. Now their actual dreams would take them there. We'll need to establish protocols, she said finally. Ethical guidelines, ways to protect our dreamers and ensure proper compensation. Valix's form brightened. Of course. We anticipated this. Your species' attention to detail in agreements is well documented in our preliminary studies. As they began discussing the specifics of the arrangement, Sarah couldn't help but smile at the irony. Humanity's ticket to the stars wouldn't come through their technology, their resources, or their military might. It would come through their dreams, the one thing they did every night without even trying. But as she watched the quantum patterns pulse across her display, she wondered what else they might discover about human consciousness along the way. And more importantly, what changes these discoveries might bring to both their species. The agreement was just the beginning. Humanity was about to enter a new age, where dreams weren't just the stuff of sleep, but the currency of the cosmos. And Sarah Chen would be at the forefront of it all, watching as human dreams reshaped the very fabric of reality. The price of dreams. 6 months after the initial agreement, the first dream harvesting center opened in Singapore. Sarah stood in the facility's central control room, surrounded by a mix of human and Zarkax technology. Through the observation windows, she could see rows of specialized sleep pods, each designed to amplify and capture the quantum properties of human dreams. Neural synchronization at optimal levels, her assistant, Maya Patel, reported from her station. All 100 dreamers are in stable RAN state. Sarah watched the quantum field measurements climb steadily on the main display. The combined dream energy of 100 synchronized sleepers created patterns so complex they pushed the limits of their monitoring equipment. Energy conversion beginning, announced Corell, their Zarkax technical advisor. Their crystalline form rippled with bands of deep purple, their species' expression of intense concentration. The air itself seemed to hum as the harvesting equipment activated. Quantum fields generated by the dreamers were captured, stabilized, and converted into storable energy matrices, the most valuable commodity in the known galaxy. First batch processing complete, Corell announced after several minutes. Their form pulsed with satisfaction. Purity levels exceed our highest projections. Sarah studied the readouts. The dream energy was indeed remarkably pure, but something else caught her attention. These patterns, they're different from our test runs. More structured. Krell moved closer to the display, their crystalline body refracting the control room's lights. Yes, the dreamers are adapting, learning, even in their sleep, to generate more coherent quantum fields. This wasn't in any of their predictions. Humans weren't just producing dream energy. They were getting better at it. Sarah made a note to review the dreamers' neural scans for any signs of lasting changes. The facility's success led to rapid expansion. Within months, dream harvesting centers opened across Earth. Millions applied to become professional dreamers, attracted by the generous compensation and the simple nature of the work. Sleep, dream, and get paid, while advancing human technological development through the exchange program. But the first signs that something unexpected was happening came 3 months later. Dr. Chen, you need to see this, Maya called her over one morning, pointing to a dreamer's neural readings. Look at their baseline consciousness patterns. Sarah leaned in, frowning at the display. The dreamer's waking brainwaves showed unusual complexity, with harmonics she'd never seen before. How long have they been in the program? 2 months. And they're not the only one. I'm seeing similar changes in about 30% of our regular dreamers. Further investigation revealed that prolonged participation in dream harvesting was affecting the dreamers' conscious experiences. They reported enhanced creativity, more vivid imagination, and most intriguingly, occasional moments of what they described as quantum intuition, an inexplicable understanding of complex systems and patterns. The Zarkacs were fascinated by these developments. Your species continues to surprise us, Valix commented during an inspection. The dream process is changing you, accelerating neural evolution we thought would take millennia. But with these changes came complications. Other alien species began arriving in Earth's solar system, drawn by reports of human dream energy. Some offered trade deals, others made thinly veiled threats. The Myriad Collective, a coalition of species specialized in consciousness manipulation, was particularly aggressive. Your primitive understanding limits your potential, their ambassador declared during a UN session. Under our guidance, human dream energy output could increase tenfold. Sarah recognized the danger in their offer. The Myriad Collective's methods were rumored to be invasive, treating sentient beings as mere resources to be exploited. Our arrangement with the Zarkacs is exclusive, she reminded them firmly. And our research suggests forced acceleration of dream energy production could harm our dreamers. The Myriad Ambassador's tentacles writhed in what might have been frustration. Your protection under the Zarkacs will not last forever. The galaxy has greater needs than your species' comfort. As she left the session, Sarah received an urgent message from Maya. Another dreamer had manifested unprecedented abilities. During a routine scan, they had somehow perceived the quantum structure of the harvesting equipment and suggested improvements to its design. The implications were staggering. Human consciousness wasn't just producing valuable energy. It was evolving in response to its own quantum interactions. Each dream was pushing the boundaries of human potential a little further. Sarah spent that night in her office, reviewing data from every dream harvesting center worldwide. The patterns were clear. Humanity was changing. Their agreement with the Zarkacs had unlocked something dormant in human consciousness, something that might transform their species in ways no one could predict. She thought back to that first meeting with Valix, remembering their words about dreams reshaping reality. Perhaps they hadn't understood just how literal that statement would become. The price of dreams wasn't just measured in technological advancement or galactic currency. It was being paid in the slow but steady transformation of human consciousness itself. And as Sarah stared at the spreading web of quantum patterns on her display, she wondered if anyone, human or alien, truly understood what they had set in motion. The currency of nightmares. The emergency alert came at 3 a.m. Sarah was in her lab within 20 minutes, finding it already crowded with both human and Zarkacs personnel. The holographic displays showed chaotic energy patterns she'd never seen before. It started in the Beijing facility, Maya explained, her voice tense. A dreamer experienced an intense nightmare. And, she gestured to the readings, this happened. The nightmare's quantum signature was different from normal dream energy. Darker, more volatile, but also more powerful. Much more powerful. Energy output is triple normal levels, Corell observed, their crystalline form flickering with bands of deep red, a sign of alarm in their species. And it's spreading. Sarah watched in horror as the nightmare's resonance pattern began affecting other dreamers in the facility. One by one, their peaceful dreams twisted into shared terror. The quantum field grew stronger with each edition. Shut it down, she ordered. Wake them all up now. But before they could act, a new signal appeared on their monitors. A ship had just dropped out of FTL travel near Earth's orbit. It wasn't Zarkacs. Myriad Collective vessel detected. The defense system announced. They're broadcasting a message. The alien ambassador's image appeared on their screens, its tentacles writhing with what looked like satisfaction. Your nightmare energy has been detected. As we suspected, Human consciousness holds far greater potential than you realize. The collective is invoking emergency protocols to assume control of all dream harvesting operations. Sarah felt her blood run cold. They'd been waiting for this, watching for any sign of instability in the dream program. You have no authority here. Our agreement with the Zarkax is irrelevant, the ambassador interrupted. The Galactic Council will agree that a species unable to control its own psychic emissions presents a clear danger. We're launching containment procedures now. The screen showed more myriad ships emerging from FTL. They were deploying something. Small devices that began descending through Earth's atmosphere. Those are consciousness suppressors, Corell announced, their form pulsing with agitation. They'll force all humans within range into a controlled sleep state. Sarah looked at the nightmare readings again and suddenly understood. You knew this would happen. The Zarkax only harvest positive dreams, but nightmares. Her eyes widened. They're more powerful, aren't they? And the myriad want to weaponize them. The ambassador's tentacles rippled. Imagine armies forced into shared nightmares, planets paralyzed by psychic terror. Human nightmare energy could revolutionize warfare itself. By torturing our dreamers? Sarah's voice was cold. That's not happening. She turned to Maya. Wake up everyone in every facility worldwide. Right now. But the nightmare resonance is exactly what we need. Sarah began typing rapidly, accessing the dream harvesting network's core protocols. Remember what we discovered about human consciousness evolving. Our dreamers aren't just generating energy anymore. They're learning to control it. Understanding dawned on Maya's face. She joined Sarah at the console, fingers flying across the interface. Together, they initiated an emergency protocol they'd developed but never thought they'd need. Across the globe, dream harvesting centers hummed to life. But instead of collecting energy, they were now amplifying it, creating a feedback loop between all human dreamers. Conscious and unconscious minds linked together in a vast neural network. The myriad ambassador's image flickered as their ship's sensors registered the building energy. What are you doing? Sarah allowed herself a grim smile, showing you why it's dangerous to underestimate human consciousness. The nightmare resonance that had started in Beijing was still spreading, but now it was controlled, directed. Millions of human minds, awake and dreaming, joined together in a symphony of thought and emotion that transcended normal spacetime. The myriad's consciousness suppressors shattered, overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of human mental energy. Their ship's systems began failing as the quantum field generated by human consciousness interfered with their technology. This is impossible, the ambassador's image stuttered. Your species isn't capable of this level of psychic coordination. We weren't, Sarah agreed, until you forced us to evolve faster. The myriad ships retreated, their weapons and control systems crippled by waves of human thought. As they fled, Sarah received another alert. The Galactic Council was calling an emergency session. She looked around the lab at her human and Zarkax colleagues. They'd discovered that human nightmares were potentially the most powerful force in the galaxy. Now they had to decide what to do with that knowledge. The quantum displays were still showing the combined consciousness of humanity, a swirling mass of dreams and nightmares, fears and hopes, all intertwined in patterns that defied conventional physics. They hadn't just learned to control their dreams. They'd learned to weaponize their very consciousness. And the galaxy would never be the same. The Dream Architects. 1 year after the Myriad Collective's failed attempt to seize control of Earth's dream harvesting operations, Sarah stood in the newly constructed Dream Synthesis Laboratory. The facility, built into the side of a mountain in New Zealand, represented humanity's evolution from simple dream producers to masters of consciousness manipulation. Neural architect Harrison is ready to begin the demonstration, Maya announced, gesturing to the central chamber where a man sat in what looked like a modified sleep pod. But Thomas Harrison wasn't going to sleep. Instead, he would remain fully conscious as he shaped dream energy into complex quantum structures. He was one of a new class of specialists, humans who had learned to generate and manipulate dream energy while awake. Starting quantum field generation, Harrison called out. The air around him began to shimmer as he accessed the same part of his consciousness that normally only activated during sleep. Sarah watched the readings with practiced eye. The quantum patterns were even more intricate than those produced by natural dreamers, showing a level of control that would have seemed impossible 18 months ago. Processing template upload now, Maya reported. The quantum computer banks hummed as they fed Harrison a complex pattern, a commissioned dream structure requested by a distant alien civilization. The Vexri, silicon-based beings from the galactic core, had ordered this particular consciousness construct to help them understand organic emotions. They were willing to pay an enormous price for the chance to experience something approximating human feelings. Harrison's consciousness merged with the template, his trained mind adding layers of human context and emotional depth to the basic pattern. The resulting quantum structure was a work of art, a carefully crafted experience that would let the Vexri safely experience organic joy without the risk of psychological damage. Package complete, Harrison announced after 20 minutes. His voice was tired but satisfied. Ready for verification. Sarah nodded to Corell, who began analyzing the dream construct. Their crystalline form shifted through various colors as they examined the quantum pattern. Remarkable, they finally announced. The emotional resonance is perfect for Vexri neural architecture. No other species has managed to create cross-compatible consciousness constructs of this complexity. It was true. In the months since humanity had demonstrated their ability to actively control dream energy, they'd revolutionized the field of consciousness engineering. Other species could harvest and store consciousness energy, but only humans could shape it into forms that could be experienced by different types of minds. We're receiving another commission request, Maya reported, checking her dev ad. The Collective of 9 is offering priority payment for a series of problem-solving constructs. Sarah smiled slightly. The same galactic powers that had once sought to control humanity were now some of their best customers. The Collective of 9, an alliance of hyperlogical species, had discovered that exposure to human consciousness constructs enhanced their ability to think creatively. Route it to the commissioning department, she instructed. But first, make sure they're not trying to reverse engineer our templates again. The attempt by several species to decode and replicate human consciousness constructs had led to the creation of new security protocols. Each construct now contained quantum signatures that made copying impossible. The patterns would degrade if anyone tried to duplicate them. Dr. Chen, Corell interrupted her thoughts. The Zarkak's High Council requests your presence at tomorrow's Galactic Trade Summit. There's growing demand for humanity to share more details about consciousness manipulation techniques. Sarah shook her head. Some things had to remain secret, like the fact that human consciousness was still evolving, becoming more powerful and more complex with each passing month. The ability to generate and control dream energy was spreading through the population, manifesting in children born after the first dream harvesting experiments. Tell them we're happy to continue supplying consciousness constructs according to existing agreements, she replied diplomatically. But our methods remain proprietary. She turned her attention back to Harrison, who was already preparing to craft another construct. The quantum fields around him danced with possibility as he shaped raw consciousness into something new and wonderful. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not through force or technological superiority, but through the unique properties of their minds. They were the artisans of consciousness, the sculptors of dreams, turning the most intimate aspects of human experience into a resource more valuable than any material wealth. And they were just beginning to understand their true potential. The Awakening. 5 years after humanity entered the galactic consciousness trade, Sarah Chen stood before the Galactic Council chamber on Nexus Station. Through the vast transparent dome above, she could see the swirling colors of the galaxy's central void, a fitting backdrop for what she was about to reveal. Distinguished representatives, she began, her voice carrying to all corners of the massive chamber. You've called this session to address concerns about unexpected changes in various species following extended exposure to human consciousness constructs. The chamber hummed with nervous energy. Delegates from 100 different species shifted in their seats, some radiating anxiety through their various biological and technological forms. The Vexry mining colonies have reported unprecedented innovations in crystal formation techniques. One counselor announced, their silicon form gleaming under the chamber's lights. Workers exposed to human emotion constructs are displaying creativity beyond their genetic programming. The collective of 9 reports similar anomalies. Another voice added, our logic-based societies are experiencing spontaneous cultural developments. Art, music, things we've never needed before. Sarah nodded, unsurprised. They detected the pattern months ago in their research, but had waited to confirm their findings before making them public. What you're describing is not a malfunction or contamination, she explained. It's evolution. She activated a holographic display, showing the quantum structure of human consciousness constructs. Our dream energy doesn't just carry experiences or emotions. It carries the fundamental pattern of human consciousness itself, our capacity for growth, adaptation, and transformation. The chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. The myriad collective's representative rose, their tentacles writhing. Are you claiming that exposure to human consciousness is changing other species? Not changing, Sarah corrected. Awakening. Human consciousness resonates with something fundamental in the universe itself, something all sentient beings share, but most have forgotten how to access. She expanded the display, showing how human dream patterns aligned with previously unknown quantum frequencies in the fabric of space-time. We've discovered that consciousness isn't just an emergent property of complex brains. It's a fundamental force of the universe, like gravity or electromagnetism. Humans just happen to be naturally attuned to it. This is unprecedented, the Zarkak's High Commander declared, their crystalline form pulsing with intense colors. You're suggesting that your consciousness constructs are activating dormant potential in other species. Sarah smiled. Exactly. Every species that's used our dream constructs has begun to exhibit enhanced consciousness, creativity, and cognitive flexibility. You're not being changed. You're being reminded of what you always were. She gestured to her team, and they activated a new set of displays showing development patterns across various species. The Vexry aren't just becoming more creative. They're discovering new ways to perceive reality through their crystalline forms. The collective of 9 isn't just developing art. They're finding new ways to merge logic and intuition. And what happens next? A counselor demanded. Where does this evolution lead? That's the most extraordinary part, Sarah replied. We don't know. Each species is developing in unique ways, following their own paths of consciousness expansion. What we do know is that it's accelerating. She revealed one final set of data, the most closely guarded secret of the human dream program. As other species evolve, their consciousness begins resonating with the same quantum frequencies we access. They're starting to generate their own consciousness constructs, adding new dimensions to the possibilities we've only begun to explore. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just introduced a new trade commodity to the galaxy. They'd initiated a consciousness revolution that was spreading across species and civilizations. We're standing on the brink of a new era, Sarah concluded, one where consciousness itself becomes the driving force of galactic evolution. Humanity didn't come to the stars to conquer or compete. We came to wake up the galaxy. As the council chamber erupted in excited discussion, Sarah looked out at the galactic core pulsing above. Somewhere out there, billions of minds were beginning to stir, remembering capabilities they'd lost eons ago. The age of pure technological advancement was ending. The age of consciousness was just beginning. And it had all started with a simple agreement to trade in dreams. End.